Welcome to my project. My name is Margarita Ramos-Rivera. I grew up in San Juan, the capital of Puerto Rico, in a middle-class family. I am the oldest of 4 siblings. Island demographic is diverse. You could see diversity in our own family. Our culture has a mix of 3 races: Spanish, African, and indigenous from the island. That's why we all look different, even if we were born from the same mother and father. Now, talking about father, here's a picture of my father, Don Miguel Enrique Ramos Jove. It all started with him. My dad became an orphan when he was 4 years old, and my grandpa decided to move all his 6 children to Chicago, accepting a job opportunity as a truck driver. He left the island monolingual and came back fully bilingual and a professional in the mechanic industry field. My parents raised us with strong dual language and dual cultural values. Mom was bilingual too. She was born and raised in New York but had Puerto Rican parents which eventually moved back to the island. It was meant to be. They both met at the island. My first heroes were my parents. I remember my parents talking in English as their unique communication line. That motivated me to learn. Then I grew up and I got inspired by my dear Aunt Rosa, Dad's sister. She was a bilingual teacher who mastered the art of storytelling. I grew up listening to her stories about Chicago schools. Nevertheless, it was my turn to go to school. That summer, before starting school, my dearest grandfather passed away all of a sudden in his sleep. I couldn't understand what happened. I was just a little girl. I experienced what I now know called separation anxiety, and I didn't want to leave home. Then school started. In a Catholic school, I took kindergarten, and the teacher was a nun. The class was full of students. It was hard for her to build relationships. I cried every morning. However, children were treated fairly. I don't remember her being disrespectful or having prejudice or bias. I was a shy girl who had just a few friends. Then along came fabulous first grade. My first grade teacher did establish a relationship with me. She made sure I understood that my mom was going to pick me up and she was waiting for me outside the school building every day. I got motivated to learn because she cared and thought I was smart. I was good at writing because it was just copying from the board, but was having a hard time reading. Decoding words was hard for me, so I decided to memorize the whole reading book, La Cartilla Fonética, since I didn't want to let my teacher down. When she called me to read, I was successful, even though I was just pretending. Without noticing, one day, I was actually reading. I will always remember amazing teachers like my first grade teacher, Miss Collazo. She believed in me. Even when I didn't believe in myself, she gave me the security I needed to learn. She simply cared. Now I read for pleasure because my aunt taught me, and by example, I love to read to my students just like my aunt did to me long ago, and try to spread that love for reading. I think love for reading has to be modeled first. I was blessed to have inspirational people around me. Through my own learning literacy experience, I know that building relationships, believing in the students' capacities, and motivation are powerful tools. Teachers should always use them to encourage students into literacy. Literature development must be relevant to students, taking into account the surrounding social environment and their culture. My cultural background and personal experiences have shaped my attitudes, beliefs, and practices. They have helped me become a better teacher. Thank you for listening. Have a good day.